Cody is with us in Houston, Texas. Hi, Cody. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I just needed some advice on how to practice patience better, whether it be in my career or just life in general. I'm just real impatient. I've always been pedal to the metal, climb the ladder, and then COVID hit and stopped all the ladder climbing. So I'm just getting kind of bored where I'm at and just needed to figure out how to be more patient with my life and career progressions.
What are you running from, man?
I don't know. I grew up super, super, super poor. And I'm tired of being that way. I'm in a lot better position now than I ever dreamed of being. I'm just trying to not go back to that place.
When you say you're in a better position, what does that mean?
Just financially. I mean, me and my wife, we have a good life and better than my family ever did growing up. So I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure I don't end up back there.
When you say good life, give me a picture of that. You talking about financially? Your marriage is good. Your kids are healthy. What's that mean?
We don't have kids, but financially, yeah, our marriage is good. I mean, we're in our second year of marriage now, so as good as 2 years of marriage can be during a pandemic. But I mean, we make really good money. I mean, we're both young. We don't have any kids yet, thankfully, because they're expensive. But
What's really good money?
Between the two of us, about $220.
And you're how old?
She's 27. I'm 26.
It's really good money.
That's great money. So sometimes when folks have a picture of a life they don't want to have, they take off running as fast as they can another direction. And that's often a good thing, right? But if your identity doesn't become about building something good, but it becomes about not being that, then you're going to always be running for the rest of your life. And your identity will become as being a sprinter. And so there's a way you could look at this season. You're making great money, astounding money in a city that's not super expensive. And you can look at slowing down as a curse or as, wow, what a gift, man. I can spend more time with my brand new wife and we can figure each other out. That becomes, you're talking about legacy shift. Earning the money, changing your financial footing, that's part of a legacy shift, but so is having great relationships, deep-rooted trust with somebody you can anchor and rappel off the edge of anything with or survive any car crash with, right? And so I'd love to challenge you to come up with some practices that when you start running from something, when your heart starts racing, when you get those looping thoughts in your head, I got to go, that you and your wife come up with, whether it's a code word or whether it's a special meal or something, that you slow down and intentionally practice being still. There's one way to practice patience, brother, and that's to practice patience. I wish it was harder. I wish it was more complex than that. It's not. You have to decide that my life isn't going to be judged on how many zeros I have after my check. They're awesome, but it's not all of your life. You're going to have to decide that I'm going to prioritize some things in addition to changing my financial future, right? And so you're going to have to decide to not spin your life as a sprinter. The tortoise always wins, always. There is something to be said, man. You shot out of the gate, and that's incredible, man. What, do you have an emergency fund? You guys got a home? Y'all set up?
Yes, sir. We're in 3B and 4, so we're out of 2, and we do have the emergency fund set up.
So now you got to do the hard work. You sprinted. You gazelled out, right?
Yeah, you finished up the intensity. Now you're going to go to the intentional.
And that's hard, man.
4, 5, and 6. It's a gear change. So how long you been making 220?
Not that long. The last maybe 6 months. She just finished PA school, so when she got out and got a job, it really kicked it up.
Yeah. So based on the math of what you've told me and your all's focused intensity and your high level of motivation, I'm going to tell you that 20 years from today, when you're in your mid-40s, you're going to have between $5 and $15 million.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Now, the difference in $5 million and $15 million in terms of what it does for what you're running from is zero. $5 million gets you as far away from poverty as $15 million gets you. The only difference is which room you stay in on vacation and how many lobster tail you order with that steak. That's really the only, and really with either one of those numbers, you could do as much of either of those things as you want to do. there's only so much crap you're going to be able to buy. And the difference in 5 million and 15 million is merely legacy stuff. It's merely stuff you can do with generations. It's merely things you can do with generosity. But your actual state of well-being, the difference between 5 million and 15 million is almost nothing. The difference between 5 million and 15 million, the price you would pay psychologically, emotionally, spiritually between now and then to have 15 instead of 5 ain't worth it, is my point. So five at 20 years from today, or 7 or 10 at 20 years from today, running a marathon pace instead of a sprinter's pace is all I want for you. I don't want you to have 20 and there's nothing left in your guts.
And your kids don't know who you are, or they don't like talking to you, or you're on marriage number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I work with wealthy people for 25 years, man, and I am wealthy. And so, and you know, I get up on Sunday morning and go to Dunkin' Donuts at 6 o'clock in the morning and take the grandbaby's donuts with sprinkles on them. And, you know, you can do that with 5 million. You can do it with 50 million. You can do it with 500 million. You know,
and the laughter of the kids is
really
the
not
same
even
volume.
going to change the car you drive.
Yeah.
In that, the difference between, in other words, at a certain point, wealth only begets more wealth. It does not change your situation.
Core, that's right.
It doesn't change your setting.
Right.
There's only so much. I mean, when your home becomes 2% of your net worth instead of 8% of your net worth, it doesn't change anything. You know,
Right, yeah.
It's not a thing. When it's 100% of your net worth, that's when you are feeling that one.
Right.
You are feeling that one. But there, at some point, your environment is no longer your personal lifestyle. Your environment is no longer affected unless you're just some kind of freak who's just buying, you know, stuff like, you know, whatever, bling, or you're trying to just buy stuff to impress people. I mean, you can do all that, but even then, you know, you just got another yacht that you have to work on.
Right.
And they break down.
And so if you've ever been hiking in the woods and you turn a corner and there's a bear, you have a built-in, your heart races when you go in the woods. Whenever you hear something rustling, you've got to train yourself over time to not see a bear everywhere. It's a rare occasion. I've been in the woods a million times. It just doesn't happen that often. Yeah. It does occasionally, but man, when you've seen poverty, when you've seen pain in your family.
I love his question. It's just such a good question.
I do too. And it's so hard to get your head out of that because, man, our brains take care of us, Dave.
It's an interesting way to ask it.
What's that?
How do I learn to practice patience?
Oh, that's somebody that's got some wisdom and he's starting to see it, right?
It's not, you know, but I don't think it's patience. I think it's contentment.
That's it. How do I practice peace? Mm-hmm. Something this year that
Godliness with contentment is great gain.
I'm working this year to reverse engineer the fruits of the Spirit. What does it look like? Where do I see peace? Where do I see gentleness? Mm-hmm. And where can I trace that limb back? Instead of trying to do it over here, I'm trying to walk it back.
I'm just going to open a can of gentleness.
That's exactly it. That's not how it works, right? Yeah. So where do I see it? And I love his question because you know what he's searching for? Hey, we got that money, and I still am not just falling asleep at 10 o'clock. Yeah. I'm still waking up too early.
Motor's still running.
How do I just go to sleep? And I want to tell you, you practice peace, you practice gentleness, you practice forgiveness, and slowly your default setting falls that way.
Yeah,
that's good. But he's on it, man, because he asked the question, and that's a gift because he's not blaming everybody for his lack of sleep. He's not chasing pills. He's not chasing anger. He's saying, how do I practice patience? And you practice patience by practicing patience.
There you go.